What's going on, people of the internet? Khaotic here with a KRR, and welcome back or welcome if this is your first time visiting my channel. Now, as I said in the previous video, we're going to take a short commentary break, and I will eventually get back to the gaming videos. Well, eventually, I don't know when, just eventually, when we get to the Left 4 Dead 2 online components. But for now, I just have a random topic that I want to talk about. And today it has to do with fandoms, online fandoms, of course, and just how absolutely dreadful they are becoming. I mean, personally, for me, from my own personal experience, they've always been dreadful. They've never not been dreadful. It just depends on what level of degree of shit they are. Like, is it just like the teeniest tiny nugget that you can just ignore and deal with, or is it just a huge pile of fucking manure? Back then, I just never had the best experiences with fandoms, and because of that, I avoid them like the plague. And I used to think I was always crazy for having a bad experience, because whenever I would tell people about this, it was always, oh, well, you must have tracked the worst people and da 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 da. Like, how is that my fault? Especially when I'm going into online spaces, I literally can't attract a goddamn thing. What the that has nothing to do with anything. But nowadays, you talk about your shitty experience with a fandom, and more often than not, most people nowadays know exactly what you're talking about, and it doesn't even matter the fandom or what you're a fan of, the medium, the person. It doesn't matter. Every fandom out there has their absolute wretched, toxic individuals. Or, frankly, in my personal opinion, they're all toxic. There's no such thing as a good, non-toxic fandom. Sure, there are decent fans, but when you bring a bunch of them together, they are just not the best people to be around, on or offline. And I know a lot of people love to say that, oh, but that's just a loud minority. You gotta hang out with the people who are in the silent majority group. Well, if they're the silent majority, how the fuck am I supposed to find them if they're so quiet, or if the loud motherfuckers are speaking over them? I swear, even when I want to talk about a topic or a subject on something, at least in certain places like Instagram or TikTok, not even YouTube. Well, maybe yes, YouTube when it comes to YouTube Shorts, but not long form content. If a video gets noticed, or if I'm just stating something in somebody else's comment section, boy, will people be quick to jump down your throat over it. Even if it's just like a minor personal opinion that you can agree to disagree with. Now, for the most part, I could understand still wanting to enjoy fan works of a creation. You also enjoy fan fiction, fan made videos, fan made songs, whatever the case may be, fan art even, of your favorite medium or whatever the heck it is, But be careful when you're hanging out in these spaces. Enjoy the content, avoid the people. My personal recommendations. Will I sometimes communicate with a person here and there? Sure. Will I ever try to interact with the entire fandom as a whole? Absolutely not. I keep it limited to that one or a few individuals, and that's it. I don't know what we consider the limit to the amount of people to have a fandom or a fandom group or fandom space, especially if we're talking about online spaces. I don't know if there's like a limit to that, or if we could put a limit on it. But in my personal opinion, let's say 300 or more, right? I don't know. I don't think you could put it on a specific limit. I don't know if you can put it on a specific number. But no matter how big or small, in my personal opinion, if it's enough people to be a fandom group, which I feel like That may be just a broad term, because you could probably bring like 3, 4 people together that are fans of something, and that could be a quote unquote fandom group. But with online spaces, the small ones really ain't too bad. It's when they get a little too large, they get way too out of hand. And it doesn't even have to be mainstream. It could be niche, but if it isn't small, it's always gonna get out of hand. But even then, this is just from the personal, experience as a fellow fan of any creation online, whether it be like an internet creation or an official production. But man, lately, the creators themselves have been having it the fucking worse.
Worse. All across the board. 2026 is already the year that every fandom turns sour. The Amazing Digital Circus fandom is fucked. The Helldivers fandom is fucked. The Stranger Things fandom is fucked. Nobody knows how to dislike a thing anymore without wishing death onto somebody. And it's because everybody's being an entitled little baby about the thing they like and doesn't know what constructive criticism is. Oh, but Danny, if we don't like something, we should voice our opinions about it. For sure, I agree. Everyone's just doing it wrong. People don't like that their favorite characters in the Amazing Digital Circus aren't getting as much screen time as they want, so instead of just voicing their disappointment, they bullied the creator of the project off of the internet. Dude made a Reddit post very politely critiquing the difficulty balance in Helldivers 2, even saying he would pay $1,000 to the developer's charity of choice if they could beat the game on its hardest setting. People doxed him, threatened his family, and got him fired from his job for it. The reason I lump Stranger Things into all of this is because after seeing the absolute hate the Duffer Brothers got after season 5, I'm shocked anyone is brave enough to make anything anymore. Seeing people be like, the Duffer Brothers are the worst writers in Hollywood, I will never support them again, after you liked 4/5 of the thing they made, was so funny. Like a chef making you a 5-course meal, you hate the dessert, and you're like, you should never cook again. And again, I'm not saying anybody has to like these things or they're exempt from criticism, but nobody knows what constructive criticism is. You were in a writing class and you submitted a story and somebody was like, you fucking suck. I hope you die on the way home from school. Is that constructive to your writing? No, you just think they're an asshole. And people are like, well, I have to be mean to get my point across. No, you don't. As a content creator myself, I can assure you, somebody being over-the-top mean and threatening my life is way less effective than someone just being like, man, I'm pretty disappointed. I was hoping for more and Danny didn't deliver. Fandoms are getting worse. All across the board.
And if that wasn't bad enough, it's getting to the point where people are even doing this shit to fan fiction creators. Now, to an extent, you have been having people out there who have been attacking fan creators for the longest when it comes to, like, maybe fan art or, man, what else? Because I have seen, people go after fan creators when it comes to fan art, like, on stuff related to Twitter. Or a character being, well, out of character compared to their original counterpart in their official works in a piece of art or a comic, but I feel like since it's still a fan creation, it's still technically considered fan fiction. It's a very broad term. So I guess in general, But when it specifically comes to the written works, I mean, fans are starting to become entitled with that shit as well.
How did this happen? How did you guys fall?
Entitlement and a desire to own the source material when you cannot. That video is talking about toxic fandoms and questioning how they become toxic, and that is how they become toxic. It is when fans believe that they have an ownership or control of the source material, and when that ownership and control is challenged or disproven, they lash out because they feel you are trying to take the thing they enjoy from them. You will see that the most toxic fandoms tend to be ones with direct access to the creators, or creators that regularly interact with fans. Because then these entitled fans that feel like they have some sort of ownership over the thing they enjoy, believe that their direct access to the creator has guaranteed their ownership and control. This is never the case. And this tends to come from fans who have very real issues and very real problems in their real lives, and whatever they're enjoying is often their only outlet or source of joy. So if you are taking that from them, that feels very personal and very devastating. That is how you get full-on fights, harassment, doxing, and threats. It's not okay. I'm not justifying it. I am saying that is how it happens. And it is something that everyone in fandom needs to understand. Unless you made it, you do not own it, you do not control it. I don't care how many metas you've written. I don't care how many fanfics you've written. I don't care if you feel like you know the characters inside and out, and anyone who has any alternative thoughts is just morally wrong. You did not make it. It is not yours to control. And when people forget that and then encourage it amongst other fans, that's how you get toxic fandoms.
Many of y'all treat fanfiction as something that you're entitled to instead of a gift to the fandom. Why are all the fics in this fandom short? Because that's what the author wanted. Why does the ship I like have no fics, but this other ship I fucking hate has all of these fics? Because unlike you, apparently those shippers know how to pick up a fucking pen. Fanfiction is not the publishing industry. If you're able to access online fandom, you are able to access and produce fanfiction. The ecosystem of fanfiction is built off people loving a media so much that they want to write fanfiction themselves. You are never going to bully someone into writing longer fics, or fics about the ship you like, or fics with the plot you want. All that is going to do is make less fanfiction authors, because people are just not going to fucking write fanfiction. If you're not willing to pick up that pen, then why the fuck do you think bullying someone else to do it for you is going to work? Too many.
This is what people mean when they say that fan and fandom culture has been fucking destroyed.
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
What do you mean you can't wait 5, 3, 2, 7 months for a fic to be updated, and you're gonna update it yourself? First of all, plagiarism. Second of all, have patience. This content mindset that so many people have fallen into has made it so that nobody has patience anymore, and everything is just content. I need this, I need this, I need it now, I need more, I need more. It is absolutely reasonable for an author to take multiple months to write new chapters. You're reading the fic for a reason, it's good for a reason, and now because you don't have any patience, you're gonna finish it yourself. Oh, okay. Moral of the story, if you don't have patience and you don't actually care about the work that's being put into the content you're consuming, get the fuck out of here. Or don't behave like that fucking dickhead and keep those fucking comments to yourself.
By the way, real quick before we move forward with this video, I apologize if you hear any noise in the background, and those are my dogs. They're sleeping. It's a bit late at night when I'm recording this in my room. They can pretty much handle my rambling and sleep through it no problem. But as you can probably hear. Okay, well now they want to do it lightly. Yeah, they tend to snore a little bit. For that, I apologize. I could probably wait for a bit of a better moment to record as far as, audible nuisances, for lack of a better descriptor, I guess. Or just noise. Anyways, I digress. If I don't do it now, I'm going to lose the motivation opportunity, because my motivation to talk about anything, to do anything related to my channels, to my content, has been on a drastic decline. With that said, let's go ahead and move forward and not go off topic too much. Now, lately I've been wondering for the longest, why is it that fan bases nowadays and fandom groups online are so toxic and rabid? Then I came across this video in my feed on TikTok, and I think dude explained it pretty well with the first two reasons, but the third one, I don't completely agree with. And frankly, I think he's basically asking for the impossible with the third one. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this video first and explain why.
I've come down to the conclusion that when it comes to indie animated shows, eventually the fandom will become problematic. I find it to be very tragic when there's an unproblematic show with a problematic fan base. Now let me give you a number of reasons and factors as to why fandoms eventually implode on themselves and they make their show look bad. Number 1, the maturity level. I believe the majority of fandoms are typically made up of immature dumbass teenagers and immature dumbass young adults, and their immaturity will not allow them to actually register and process these heavy emotional subject matters that these shows typically tend to depict. So when something doesn't go right in their eyes, when something isn't depicted right, or when there's something that they can't really process or comprehend, they're going to make their dumbass opinions about the show. They're going to make their dumbass theories about the show so that they can cope with what they're watching. And this can lead to fandom cannibalization, or them going directly to the showrunner and basically telling them, oh, your show fucking sucks now, or, you know, oh, you're not doing this right, or whatever the fuck. I've seen people crucify the character Stolas from Hell of a Boss because he's a bad father, because they're only looking at the situation from Octavia's eyes, and they're not looking at it from his eyes. I'll spare you guys my Stolas tangent, but factor number 2 as to why I believe fandoms will eventually implode on themselves. I believe it's safe to say that the majority of these indie animated shows, along with their fandoms, are very progressive-minded. And there's nothing wrong with being a progressive-minded person. I like to believe myself to be a very progressive-minded person. But I feel like there's a lot of radical people within fandoms. So whenever there's anything wrong, a little bit wrong with the show, they believe there's something wrong with something bigoted, a little bigoted with the show. Either it's in the show itself, or they find some fucking stupid tweet that one of the showrunners or one of the crew members on the show made 7 to 10 fucking years ago that was just a distasteful joke made. They're going to go off. They're going to try to destroy the show now. They're going to call the people racist. They're going to do a bunch of other stupid shit just to feel vindicated in their radical beliefs and feel righteous. When people in the fandom, radical people, like to force the show to be political in some way or form because of the controversy it's trying to produce out of it, that fucking destroys shit. It leaves a big mark on the show, and it starts to just destroy the fandom. And factor number 3, showrunners who are not willing to discipline their fandoms. There's a lot of great showrunners out there, but they're not willing to actually set the law and discipline their fandoms. They typically hide behind the scenes and everything, and they may make a tweet here or there talking about the show and also humoring their fandoms, but they never actually fucking discipline their fandoms. I've talked about this before. If I had a show, I would be Darth fucking Vader to all y'all. Best believe I will set down the laws. I will set down the rules. If you do this, or that, you're not part of this fucking fandom, and may everyone tell you that you're not part of this fucking fandom. But that's just my opinion. Put in the comment section below, what do you believe destroys a show? Or what do you believe starts to corrode a fandom? Like, put it in the comment section below, because I believe, like, those 3 things. And there's more, obviously. There's more nuance to it. But it's just, I'm so fucking done with this shit, bro. I just want to enjoy indie animated shows and just move on my life. But you have so many people who just want to destroy things. Man, I'm so fucking done. But anyways.
Now, for the most part, I do agree with those 2. And I do think there is a third reason, and I'm going to explain the third reason I personally think applies to a lot of fans out there, a lot of the toxic ones. But let me go ahead and explain why I disagree with his third reasoning. And that is because, well, simply put, what does he even mean by discipline? And before anybody says, oh, well, why don't you ask him? I did try to ask him in the comments section. There weren't even that many comments in the comments section. Dude would have easily seen mine if he reads his comments. He has yet to personally reply or even to making a video discussing it even further. But yeah, I did try to ask this creator, and he just didn't say anything about it. For the most part, he's a small creator that doesn't get a lot of engagement. He gets a good amount of engagement for his size, but he doesn't get a lot of engagement. So it would be pretty easy for him to notice my comment. But he did not answer the question. Like, genuinely, this is not the first time I've heard a individual on the internet say that creators need to manage or discipline their fandoms. And I really genuinely don't comprehend what the fuck they want them to do. What do you mean by discipline? How? How are they supposed to do that? If we're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on the internet, how do they manage that? How do you discipline thousands or hundreds of thousands of people in an online space you have no control over? At least for the most part when it comes to the platform. When it's your own personal page, like a TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube comment section, sure, you, the creator, the uploader, you got complete control over that, no problem. But for the most part, it's really just whether or not you choose to censor people or read what they say or ignore it. And when it comes to certain online spaces, such as forums, even Reddit specifically as a forum, unless you are literally the creator of said forum, said moderator, or a moderator of said forum, you literally do not have control of that space. And you sure as hell don't have control over the individual because, there's a little thing called free will. You can't really control what an individual says or does. Nor do you have any permission to do so because they are their own being. And unless what you're doing to discipline that fandom is simply just denying, the bad actors access to that space so the people who behave themselves can enjoy themselves and engage with the creator and the creation, if they literally do not have control like a moderator on Reddit or their own personal page on like YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, then what the fuck can they even do? They don't have control over the situation. They don't have control over the people. They don't have control over the space. They can tell people to not do this, not do that, do A, B, and C, behave yourselves and be kind and be respectful. The individual can simply ignore and disregard them. And right here in this video, this guy seems to be referring to creators that don't seem to engage or do anything with the fandoms at all. But other than just talking to them, they literally can't do anything at all. Nothing is in their control besides the very thing they're creating that people are a fan of. I genuinely don't know what the fuck he would want anybody like Glitch and Gooseworks or any other creator to do. And if they engage too much, that's how you end up in a Gooseworks or VisiPop situation. Whether or not it has to do with, some of the problems on the creator and how they interact with the fandom, like with VisiPop, or if they literally didn't do anything and it's just the way the fandom is treating them and misinterpreting their words, like with Gooseworks, there's no, situation where they win. It's always going to be lose-lose. If they interact with the fandom too much, and things get out of control, it's their fault. If they stay silent and they mind their own business, they stick to themselves and don't really interact with the fandom a lot, it's at least partially their fault in this circumstance because they don't discipline the fandom, even though they can't do anything. If they try to find that middle ground, that more medium like Gooseworks tried to do while still having a good amount of interaction with their fan base, and their fan base goes out of control, it's still somehow their fault. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they interact too much, the shit gets out of control and it's their fault. If they don't interact enough at all with them, the shit gets out of control and it's their fault. If they try to find that medium ground and still be respectful but still engage with the fandom and shit still goes out of control, it's their fault. Like, I guess fuck the creator, then there's nothing they can do. And even then, when it comes to managing or disciplining the fandom, how are you supposed to do that with very minimum engagement with them anyways? You have to engage with them to do... I don't know. I don't even know. What the fuck are you going to do? How do you manage or discipline a fandom? Because even if you can, even if there's a way, you still have to engage with them in order to do it. Yeah, so if anybody out there has the same opinion as this dude, where you think creators need to manage and discipline their fandoms, please tell me in the comment section how. I genuinely want an answer because I've been hearing quite a few people online say this. Many people agree with it, but nobody wants to fucking explain how the hell the creator's supposed to do that. Especially when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. Like, give me a fucking break. Are you serious right now? How is that even supposed to be physically feasible? Anyways, I said I think there's a third reason in general. You know, there is a third reason absolutely for why fandoms are like this, but it's not that. Personally, for me, I think it has to do with the customer is always right mentality. But let's replace customer with consumer, or in some cases viewer. Which, a viewer of something, you know, if you're viewing a TV show, if you're viewing a film, whether you paid for it or it's free on television or a video online, that's how you're consuming it. So a viewer is a consumer. So let's just replace customer with consumer, and it's the consumer is always right mentality. Which, even though that phrase, the full phrase of it, was originally the customer is always right in the sense of taste, and of course the consumer still is when it comes to media. What they like is what they like, and what they don't like is what they don't like. But if they're not finding it in the medium they're currently watching, it's best for them to seek it somewhere else. Though they don't seem to comprehend that, they just understand the customer, or in this case the consumer, is always right, full stop, and they leave it at that. Basically, when people have this mentality, when they use it against, creators in this circumstance, or in the real world, your average shopkeeper and cashier, they use it as a sense of entitlement, like the customer is always right. So you gotta do what I want, you gotta do what I say in the way I want it, how I want it. Because I am the customer, and I am right, and I am paying you my money for this. So if you want my money, or I guess in this case, my engagement with online media, you do what I want, because I am right, and the customer is always right. That is absolutely not true, and absolutely a broken leap of logic, if you even think about it for more than 3 seconds. But basically, that's the general elaboration behind this mentality. That's what it means by the customer or the consumer is always right mentality. It's that customer consumer entitlement, thinking you're owed or deserved something just because you're paying for it, or you gave it that attention and engagement online. And no, the customer isn't always right. In many cases, a storefront or a creator should put their foot down. But then that's easier said than done when said customer starts throwing a fucking fit, like a little kid throwing a tantrum because, mommy didn't want to give me that piece of candy or that toy, so I guess I'm going to start screaming and hollering at the top of my lungs till I get what I want. And sometimes people don't want to deal with that shit, so, they might just want to ignore it and not want to deal with it. For a store owner in the real world, it's easier for them to manage it and put their foot down, because they can say, well, that's how you want to be? Get the fuck out of my store. Get out, you're banned, don't come back. If I see you here, I'm not selling to you. If they refuse to leave, you can call the cops for trespassing. But for an online space, what the fuck are you going to do about that? Especially if they're not even breaking any of the rules. You can't report them for anything. There's no online fucking police that's going to arrest them for misbehaving or throwing a tantrum on the internet. Like, there's literally nothing the creator can do but ignore and block them. Granted, in real life, some storefront, owners might be the same way. They might be like, "Oh, okay, all right, you're right, ma'am, you're right, sir. The customer's always right. I'm sorry, you're right, I'm wrong. Let me go ahead and fix the situation so we can move on and I can get to the next customer and you don't freaking give me a headache." But even then, handling the situation and putting your foot down and actually disciplining a customer misbehaving in your store is easier to do than managing an entire fan base online. Groups of hundreds of people, thousands of people, all throwing a tantrum. Probably all at once. And in some cases, like mentioned earlier in that one video I showed, people literally threatening your fucking life and trying to get you fired from your job. How the fuck does an individual even manage that? How the fuck are you, the creator, responsible for disciplining that person? And if you do, I think that's just going to make the threats worse. Call me crazy. The only way I can put it, even though I don't see fandoms as a good thing and I don't believe in such a thing as good fandoms, the only way people are going to clean up these fandoms is if the fandom itself starts cleaning itself from the inside out. They're the ones involved in it the most. They're the ones who have to handle it. But nobody wants to take up that responsibility because, how can I put this? It is a community effort. The same way you build a community coming together, you fix it, you repair it, you clean it together. You come together and you make that effort, but nobody wants to do that. And like this guy, although I don't disagree with his other options, funny enough, I think the other two reasonings, I think his third reasoning is a very immature way of looking at it in of itself. Because what the fuck you mean you want this individual creator to somehow manage and discipline over thousands of people online as if they have any control over them or the fucking personal space they're in? No, that responsibility is not up to the creator, and really it's in their best interest to have limited contact with the fandoms whatsoever. Just to keep to themselves and just give them updates here and there on the medium, and that's it. That is not on them. That is on the community. I think it's the community that is responsible for cleaning itself out. And if we were talking about real life, like your personal neighborhood community, or your family, or your school, your personal friend group, that would be on you guys. That responsibility doesn't come down to one individual. That comes down to all of you. That's a shared responsibility. Taking care of the community is a shared responsibility. And if a fandom is a type of community, then the same would apply to fandoms. It is not the responsibility on the creator to take care of the community. It is up to the community to take care of the community. Just like IRL, it's not really responsible for a government to take care of personal community neighborhoods beyond the personal needs that a government is supposed to take care of, like good schools, good streets, good law enforcement. It's the shit that your taxes actually go into. Do your taxes go into bringing your community together, bring you and your neighbor together, and talk to each other and actually have a connection? No. You guys do that. You guys are responsible for that, and no amount of paying for taxes is gonna fix that. Sure, everybody can be like, "Oh, it'd be nice if our taxes go to a park." Well, that's not gonna matter if y'all go to the fucking park. If nobody's going to the park to talk to new people, then that park doesn't matter. It's not contributing to building the community and bringing them together if any of you just don't want to go to the park. It's pointless. It has no use. It's a waste of money. Hey, maybe you want the people on your block to come together and try to have a block party. Nobody wants to do that? Oh, but then you're shit out of luck. Because you're not going to bring the community together with one person handling the entire responsibility. That's not how that shit works. That's just unrealistic. I don't know. I guess that's where I'm gonna leave my final thoughts at, because I'm already slowly losing. What the fuck is wrong with my speech today? I am slowly losing motivation to keep doing this. I know I'm gonna have little to no energy even the day following and the day after that to edit this, so I'm gonna just try to jump straight into that and just push myself to just do it. It's going to be very little editing anyways, just some cuts here and there. So there's no excuse to not get it out of the way. But I can't emphasize enough how low my motivation has been. And I apologize for my speech. I've mentioned before many times in my videos that I do have a bit of a speech impediment. Though something I've been noticing lately is the more and more I lose motivation to keep doing something while I'm doing it, like in this case the voiceover, my speech just goes faulty. I lose interest that much that I lose interest to kind of focus, to really focus on what I'm saying, and my lips follow suit with. I don't know why. Like my lips just want to stop working when my brain loses interest. Because the words are still at the forefront of my mind. I'm still trying to say them. I still want to get them out. But it's like my brain just goes, I don't care anymore. And my lips just goes with like, me too. And I do this shit like saying looting when I want to say losing. Or that whole broken up speech right there where I can't even say a straight fucking sentence. I mean, sometimes it really is just my speech impediment, but lately I feel like my interest and my motivation has contributed to it getting worse when I'm recording. Because that drops off and I just feel my speech going with. And since that's the thing I have to do here, that's the thing I need to focus on, I think you get the picture, right? And then on top of that, just trying to find the right words to put it in right now. Obviously, you can see why it's a bit of a struggle. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below when it comes to fandoms and how you think the community within these fandoms, any fandom out there, can come together to fix them. And why do you think people want to put all this responsibility on the creators of the media they enjoy instead of the community as a whole within the fandom? Also, do you think I'm wrong with my personal third reason why people are so entitled, toxic, and disrespectful within fandoms? Do you agree or disagree with me? Why or why not? I'm probably going to stand by my point. I don't think you're going to change my mind, so please do not go in with this in mind, do not try to go in and explain your reasonings in an attempt to change my mind. I just want to understand your mind and why you think that way, why you feel that way. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. We'll agree to disagree. I'm not going to try to change your mind either, but if I try to explain myself, that's it. I'm just explaining myself. I just want you to explain yourself. I'm not going to take it in any other way. I don't want you to take it in any other way. I'm not trying to convince you. I don't need you to convince me. I just want to hear what's on your mind. Do you agree with that guy's original reason? All three of them? None of them? What are your personal reasons for why fandoms are so bad? Do you actually think the creator has any responsibility in it? Why? Why is it so bad that they hold off to themselves? Which, again, I think is the best course of action. And what are they even supposed to do? If you truly think that a creator needs to discipline their fandom, how? How are they supposed to do that? I genuinely want to hear your full thoughts and opinions. Don't be too bothered by a long comment being long. If it's that nuanced, I want to hear it. Anyways, leave a like if you've enjoyed. If not, leave a dislike and a comment telling me why. Because any and all interaction is good for my channel and the algorithm. And any and all criticism can help me get better. And by the way, I apologize for these videos coming out so long, but more often than not, when I want to talk about something, I have a lot to say and I want to get into the nuance of the matter. I don't think shit is ever truly that simple, so if I want to go that in depth, I'm gonna go that in depth. I have tried to really make videos shorter around the 10 to 15 minute mark before, but it's a little bit hard when you have a lot to say. And then on top of featuring some of those clips, that adds on to the runtime. All respect to the original creators and anything like their name, watermark, or whatever the heck was left in to give them credit. HK out. And let me leave you guys on this final note. Guys, you gotta have more respect for these creators out there. It takes a lot of time and effort for them to start doing these passions. And it's understandable that when you put your money into something, if you actually put it into it, that you're gonna be concerned how it turns out. But you really gotta show these people respect because it's human beings behind the scene making this shit. And I truly think it will be in your best interest to avoid fandoms like the plague, even if you have a good interaction and experience with them. But hey, that's my personal advice, and you're allowed to disregard it as you please, and do you. But I really don't think anything good comes out of fandoms. Good things come out of the fans sometimes, but not out of the fandoms as a whole. But you can enjoy a piece of property, an IP, a medium, or a fan creation without having to interact with those type of people. You don't have to interact with the fandom to enjoy a piece of art. Official or fan fiction, just avoid them, ignore them, don't talk to them, enjoy the thing by yourself. You do you, don't let them ruin it.